So, today I want to tell you a story. It's not a true story. It was told to myself in my class by Mr. Ishen back in JSS. He was our English teacher. So the story goes like this. I don't really know what it's about. I think it's about love or family. I don't know. You now, when you finish listening, you decide what the story is about and then you see if you can get some moral out of it. I mean, I just enjoyed the story. The way he told it was just beautiful. So I want to see if I can do the same thing. So there was a man who lived in a village with his wife and 9 sons. And the man badly, desperately needed a daughter. For some reason, he wanted a daughter, but he was not getting. That's how come he ended up with 9 sons. So the wife got pregnant again, and then the man, one night, in his drunken rage, told the wife that this 10th pregnancy, if it comes out as a boy, I'm gonna send you out of my house, packing. Get out, I don't need you anymore because you're useless. If it comes out as a girl, I'm gonna keep you, I'm gonna keep the daughter, and I'm gonna get rid of the 9 boys. The man was a ruthless man, so when he said get rid, the woman knew what he was talking about, like murder or something. I don't know. So time came for the woman to have the baby, and she called the 9 boys and told them that, look, this is what your father is planning. I need you to leave the house, leave the village, and go into the jungle. Every morning, the eldest of you should climb the tallest tree you can find and cast your eyes onto the village, specifically onto our house. If you see a red ribbon on top of the roof, it means I had a daughter, so you cannot come home. If you see a white ribbon, it means I had a son, you can come back home. So the boys left. They went into the jungle, deep into the jungle, where they could find the tallest tree. So every morning, that's what they did. They climbed the tallest tree to look around, and then every day there was nothing. Every day there was no signal, there was no ribbon, nothing. Till one morning, they climbed the tree, looked around, and then they saw a ribbon, a red ribbon on the roof, meaning that the woman had had a daughter. So the son came down from the roof, from the tree, and he told the other brothers that this is what I saw when I climbed. It was a red ribbon, so we cannot go back home. The brothers were furious, they cried, they were angry, and then they vowed that they lost everything that they had because of a girl, a woman. So they vowed that they will have no encounter with any woman whatsoever. And if they did, they were going to murder that woman for payback, vengeance, I don't know. So where they were, they established a farm, a big farm. They built a house for themselves in the jungle, and then they built a farm around the house. That's where they lived, deep in the jungle, for years. Fast forward years later, their father, the wicked man, he had died, and the mother lived at home alone with the daughter. And the daughter realized that the mother was sad most of the time, very, very sad, and she used to cry. So one day the daughter asked the mother, "Mommy, what's wrong?" I said, "Debiana, you are weeping, and what's the matter?" And the mom said, "I miss my sons." And the girl was like, "You had sons? I have brothers?" She was like, "Yeah, you have 9 brothers." It's like, "Where are they? What happened to them?" And then the mother told her the story. And the girl was like, "No, she has to go find her brothers because the mother is so sad because their brothers are not around. And she's the only child, always alone, and so she needs her brothers." So she was going to go find them. And the mom said, "No, that was like 20 plus years ago and no need, blah, blah, blah." She said she doesn't care. She's going to go find her brothers. So One early morning, the girl left home. She packed some stuff into a piece of cloth and she left the village, heading towards the jungle. The mother told her that she told her the story that she told her to go to the tallest tree, blah blah blah, she could find. So the girl also headed straight for that place. So she moved for days, moved, and she finally saw the biggest, tallest tree in the jungle. She saw the tree and she was like, maybe this is where my brothers are. So she went closer and she saw that there was a house with a farm around it. And she went knocking, I'll go. Someone came from the house, young man, well built, nice body, not like my own, but nice body, Park Santons. He came out and he saw the girl, and immediately, as soon as he saw the girl, he just grabbed a piece of stick, like a big one, club, to go club the girl. And the girl just went on her knees and was like, brother, have mercy, it's me, your sister. And the guy hesitated and like, who are you? And she was like, it's me, your sister. Our mother sent me to come find you. And the guy looked at the girl, and the girl was pretty. Like, the girl was so nice, so pretty. So he couldn't bring himself to harm her, you know. And the girl was like, please have mercy. Our father is dead, and I'm just here looking for my 9 brothers. Please don't hurt me. Please have mercy. And the guy asked her, what's your name? And she mentioned the name. And the guy was just sad, and he started crying, and he hugged the girl and was like, how is mommy doing? Is she okay? It's like, she's sad, she's miserable, and all that. And then the girl asked her, so where are my other brothers? And he was like, they've gone to our other farm deeper in the forest. They're gonna come back very soon. But I'm the youngest of the brothers, and I don't really have much control over their reaction when they see you. So I'm going to have to hide you when they come back, and then I'll tell them about you before you reveal yourself. And the girl said, okay. So he cooked something for her, some meat for her to eat. They spoke, they had a good time, and it was almost time for the brothers to come. So the guy hid the sister in a big pot in the house and covered it with some wood. So when the 8 brothers came, this younger brother welcomed them home, and he was like, how was farm, how was work, blah blah blah. I was like, okay, cool. And the guy was like, okay brothers, so I want to ask something. So as we are here, if we discover a woman, a female, are we really going to kill her or harm her? Then the eldest brother just got angry. Said, why are you asking us about women? What is wrong with you? Don't you know we are vowed not to talk about them, not to encounter them, not to interact with them? What is wrong with you? This is your last warning. So I'm gonna have to deal with you drastically. Like, the guy was just ranting, shouting, and the girl in the pot got furious. She got mad. I was like, what the is this? So the girl just bursted out of the pot and was like, what is wrong with you? Why do you talk to your brother like that? What have women done? Are we a curse? If we had a bad father, does that mean you should attack us, attack me as a woman for being... So the brothers just saw the girl, saw her talking, and then they went to grab their cutlasses and everything, ready to attack. Then the youngest brother came between them and took out his machete. The eldest brother struck a blow with the machete to cut the girl, and then the youngest brother deflected the blow with his machete and then put the cutlass to the neck of the big brother and said, meaning, if you dare touch my sister, like if you dare touch her, I'm gonna slaughter you. Don't you know she's our sister? And then everybody was quiet, and they're like, sister? It's like, yes, the red ribbon, she's the one. Then the girl was just standing there, panting. Like, what's our mother's name? And then she mentioned their mother's name. What's our father's name? And she mentioned it. Where is he? It's like, he's dead. and I came to find you because of mother. Mother has been sad because she lost you for years, and it's unbearable. So that's why I came to find you. And then the girl was like, I'm so sorry. It wasn't my fault. Don't attack me because of the stupidity of our father, his wickedness. Let's come together as a family. Let's go back and take care of mother because she misses you guys so much, blah, blah, blah. And then it was all touchy, feely, emotional reunion. And they were crying and everything. And then they all came together. They hugged and all that. And yeah, so the guys were like, okay, they're going to go back to the village. But they need to organize themselves. They need to harvest some of the crops and everything because they've done well as farmers. They have a lot of food stuff and everything. So they're gonna harvest more and then take it all back home and give to the whole village and all that. So they agreed to do that. So in the coming days, the 9 brothers went to the farm to do the harvesting, and then the girl stayed home to cook for them delicious meals and all that. One day, it was the birthday of one of the brothers, so the girl decided to prepare a feast for them as they went to work. She made different meals, the fufu and the ampesi and the abekati konto and the... Please, jollof wasn't there. That time, jollof hadn't been discovered. So those of you thinking about jollof, there was no jollof. There was no tin tomatoes at that time. So jollof no day. Samara. But she did make wachi. Oh yes, wachi there is very necessary. So after cooking all the food, she decided to decorate the table with some flowers, some ornaments, like otopun. She's setting the table for her big brothers. So she went outside the house looking at the garden around, and she saw flowers, very beautiful, elegant flowers. She was like, oh wow, these flowers are nice. And those flowers, they came about when, remember when the brothers swore that they were not going to encounter any, interact with any female? The spirits in the jungle took the words they said and as a covenant, sort of. That's why we shouldn't be swearing left, right, center. So when they swore, the flowers sprout up, 9 flowers indicating each brother as a symbol of what they've sworn to. The girl didn't know, so she plucked those flowers and she took them inside to decorate the table. Now, after decorating the table, she waited for hours for her brothers to come back home. They did not come. It was 6 p.m. It was 7 p.m. It was 8, 9. All through the night, the girl didn't sleep. She just stood outside waiting for her brothers to come. They never came. Till the next morning, as she kept sitting outside the house, now she started weeping, worried about her brothers. Maybe a wild animal has devoured them or something. And as she waited, she saw some crows, black crows. One of them landed in front of her, another landed on a tree. Like, she just saw crows around, and when she counted, there were 9 crows. And she was wondering, who are these crows? And they kept crowing, quack, 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 quack. And she got a bit scared. So as she was there just wondering what to do, she saw from a distance a woman, an old woman, covered in cloth, just walking towards her from the distance. And the woman got closer and she was like, my daughter, I'm a traveler, very thirsty. Can you give me some water? And the girl was like, okay. So she went inside, brought some water and gave it to her, and gave her a seat to sit down. And the woman asked her, my daughter, what are you doing here, deep in the forest, all alone? And the girl was like, I live here with my brothers. I live here with my brothers. I live here with my brothers. And they've gone to the farm since yesterday and they are not back, and I'm so worried. And the old woman was like, those are your brothers. And she laughed. And the girl was like, who? It's like, the crows are your brothers. The crows are your brothers. And the girl was like, how? Why? How is it possible? And the old man was like, your brothers swore an oath to the spirits that they would never encounter or interact with any woman. And as a result of that oath, some flowers sprung up, symbolizing their oath. And you took those flowers, you plucked those flowers. And when you plucked those flowers, the spirits knew that it's only a woman who would find delight in flowers and want to have them. And as such, they exacted their revenge on the brothers for having a woman around for so long to discover the flowers. And the girl started crying even harder and asking, so what can I do to have my brothers back? What can I do? Please tell me, what can I do? I'm willing to do anything to have my brothers back. And the old woman was like, there's only one way you can have your brothers back. You are going to have to be silent and not speak a word to any soul, to any being, not even to yourself, for 9 years, 9 months, 9 weeks, 9 days, 9 hours, 9 minutes, and 9 seconds. Only then shall the curse be broken. And the girl was quiet, deep in thought, and she said okay, she was going to do it. She wasn't going to speak a word for that period. 9 years, 9 months, 9 weeks, 9 days, 9 hours, 9 minutes, and 9 seconds to break the curse on her brothers. So the old woman took a herb from her pouch and gave it to her to chew and drink water. When she was done chewing and she drank the water, the countdown starts. So she said okay, she was going to do that. And the old woman left. So the girl sat and spoke to the crows, which were her brothers. Spoke to them that I'm so sorry for what I've done and I'm going to make it right, and I shouldn't have even come. You guys were right and I'm so sorry. I'm going to do everything to make it right. And so she chewed the herb and drank the water, and the countdown started. Now she stayed with them, with the crows, for some weeks, not saying anything. She was just there every day, going up and down, doing her chores. She thought of going back to the village, but she was afraid when she goes she would have to explain to her mom. She would talk and break the solution or whatever she was doing, the akwanchere. She would break it, so she would not go back to the village. Rather, she would stay with the crows. But every day she realized as she stayed, she wanted to talk to them. She was tempted to talk. She was tempted to speak. So she said no, she was going to leave. So one day she just left the house to venture into a foreign land where nobody knows her, where she wouldn't be tempted to speak to anyone. So she left, wandering the forest, going deeper and deeper and deeper. And it was night time, and she was tired, and it was raining. So she saw a tree that had a thick canopy. So she climbed the tree to perch herself on the tree so she can sleep a bit. So she did that and she slept. And in the early hours of the morning, there was a hunter who was also hunting for game to go feed his family, moving around in the jungle. And then he saw something on the tree, and he thought it was wildlife, wild animal that had climbed. So he just aimed his arrow at the animal in the tree. The girl heard the man coming, so she woke up and she saw the man down the tree aiming his arrow at her. She had already done some weeks, close to a month, of not saying anything, not speaking. And she didn't want to break the direction she was doing. If she spoke to him and said, "Don't shoot," the Aquantre spot. So she stayed up there, and then she was trying to find a way to let the man know. So she broke a branch and threw it at him. And the man was like, which stubborn monkey cry is this? So he just strangled the thing, and the girl was now begging, like, "Don't shoot." Like, she was thinking, "Don't shoot, I'm a human being." She was thinking. And the man looked, and he was like, "Wait, that's not an animal, that's a human being." And the man was like, "Are you a human being?" And the girl was nodding. "What are you doing up there?" And the girl shook her head like, "If you're a human being, calm down now before I shoot you." And the girl quickly came down from the tree. And then the man saw her face, and she was beautiful. And the man was like, "Are you sure you're not an evil spirit?" And the girl nodded. Like, "What is your name?" And the girl shook her head. "Where are you from?" And she shook her head. And the man was thinking to himself that this issue is beyond me. He would take the girl back to his village, to the chief, and the chief would find a solution. And the man asked her, "Are you alone?" She said, "Yeah, I'm alone." Like, "Okay, come with me." So the man took the girl to his village, to the chief. The chief was a very great chief, big kingdom, big village, and he had lots of wives. Problem was, he didn't have a child. So once the chief saw this girl so pretty, he made up his mind to marry her. And the hunter told him that she doesn't speak, whatever, she responds, but she doesn't speak. And the chief asked her to come closer. "What's your name?" Didn't say anything. "Where are you from?" She didn't say anything. And like nothing. The girl just didn't speak. So the chief called his priest to come and check the girl out. The priest came, did some stuff around. I was like, she's not evil. She's not an evil person. And the chief was like, okay, he'll let the girl stay in his palace. So the girl stayed there day in, day out, doing chores and all that. And the chief really liked the girl. So he told his council that he was going to marry the girl. Maybe he'll be fortunate and she would give him a son or a daughter, whichever. He just needs a kid. So he married her. Nice ceremony. The girl still didn't speak. And within a few months, the girl got pregnant for him. Actually, the other wives of the chief did get pregnant, but whenever they delivered, the baby died. So the girl got pregnant and delivered. They brought the baby, and it was a baby sheep. So the chief was like, what is this atrocity? And then the other wives were the midwives. The other wives of the chiefs were the ones who delivered the baby. It's like, my lord, this is what she brought forth, a baby sheep. And the girl was crying and she was weeping and she was in tears. And the chief was like, never mind, I still love you, I'll stay with you, you stay with me, you're not going anywhere. So yeah, years passed, the girl got pregnant again, delivered, and it was a baby rabbit. So the whole thing, the chief got furious, was like, what is happening? Called the chief priest to come and check something out, and the chief priest gave him nothing, and frustration was setting in, you know. And the chief was like, no issues, we will still try again, because the guy just loved the girl, you know. So yeah, some time passed more, and the girl got pregnant again, and went to have a baby, and it was a baby snake. And this time the chief was like, no, this is too much. Around the same time, there was a plague in the village. People were dying, falling sick and dying. And then the chief priest came and then told the chief that the gods are not happy because of the girl in the village. And the only way this plague will go away, sacrifice the girl to the gods. The chief was in tears and was crying, but eventually he agreed, and the girl was crying and she was on her knees holding the feet of the chief, begging, like she couldn't speak because of her promise, so just crying and crying and crying and crying. But the chief was like, it's not my will, it's the will of the gods, so it has to be done. So the day came for them to perform the sacrifice of the girl to the gods. So they took her to the town center and then set up some firewood and tied her down to burn her, like they used to do in Salem, burning of witches. They tied her to the stake, and the whole village gathered around, and they asked her, any last words? We know you don't speak, but is there anything you would want to say? And the girl just cried and cried, and she was just weeping. She was just shaking her head. And the chief was also crying, You cry, I feel like crying. It's just sad. So when the girl said nothing, the chief said nothing. The chief priest took a torch, set it on fire, and just when he was about to throw the torch to light the firewood, a crow flew in from nowhere and just hit his hand, and he dropped the firewood. And then the crow landed, and then another crow, and then another crow. Before they realized, the crows had transformed into 9 strong human beings, like big guys. And then when they landed and they transformed, they all picked big clubs from the firewood that has been set up. And then the eldest of the crows shouted that any one of you who dares come close to our sister, we will kill the person. The 9 brothers, yes. So they all came and they just surrounded the girl. And then the girl just shouted, my brothers! And then the chief got up and was like, she speaks! It's a miracle! She speaks! And then the girl laughed and she cried, and the chief laughed, ha 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 ha. And then the brothers untied her, and then they hugged her, and I was like, my brothers. Apparently, I'm really sweating. The 9 years, 9 months, 9 weeks, 9 days was up. The girl had done it. And they hugged each other, and the girl just left the brothers and went to the chief and went on her knees and sobbed. And I was like, my Lord, there's so much I need to tell you. There's so much I need to tell you. And the chief went on his knees and was like, tell me, my wife, tell me. And it was like, all those kids I had for you that came out as animals, they were not animals. They were actual human beings that I gave birth to. But your wicked wives, out of their jealousy, killed my children and replaced them with animals. And the chief got furious. I was like, what? And he just took a sword from his side and went straight to the wives and he finished them. And the girl was like, I had 3 beautiful babies for you, 2 boys, 1 girl. And they murdered them out of jealousy because they felt if I was able to have a child, they would lose favor in your eyes. And apparently that is what they had been doing. The first wife started that thing. The first wife could not have kids. So when the second wife came in and got pregnant, she would kill the child in the process of taking the child to the chief. And then eventually a third wife came in, and then the first wife told the second wife that, hey, this is it. If this girl has a baby, we are all finished. So you're either with me or you're not with me. I kill you. So it became a thing with the wives that if the first wife could not have a child, the second wife could not have a child, then nobody's going to have a child. So that's what they were doing. So the girl told the chief that these are what your 4 wives have been doing, and the chief murdered them. He killed them in cold blood, or hot blood, warm blood, I don't know. He just murdered them. So after that, he hugged his wife, said he was sorry, blah blah blah, and then the girl was like, these are my brothers, and she told him the story of the 9 brothers, how they ended up the way they are and everything, and the chief welcomed them to the kingdom, and they were all happy. And then instead of them burning the girl that day, they burnt the corpses of the 4 wives, evil wives, and they had a big celebration, big celebration, and they were all happy. They had a big banquet. The chief made the 9 brothers part of his council, and then the chief said he had a surprise for them. The celebration went on for some time, like a week. Yeah, it was as an Indian wedding, like a big feast. So the chief was like, he has a surprise for them, and they were like, what surprise? And he waved them to bring in the surprise. They turned, and it was their mother. The chief had brought in their mother. They went to hug her, they kissed her and everything, and it was just beautiful. It was just beautiful. And they lived happily ever after. So this is a story which wasn't a true story. Someone told us, and I am telling you. So I don't know what morals you would learn from it. Do not be evil. Do not, I don't know, whatever. Just make something out of it. And I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and share and tell people about it.